Bonjour tout le monde. Je suis M. Ravi. Je suis le président de la recherche des analyses politiques et arabes à Paris. Donc, je peux poser ma question à M. l'excellent député, M. Rouet, en anglais, si vous voulez. Welcome to the Paris. My question for you, what did you say about before 2 years war with IC, with Daesh in Iraq? What did you say the future, the Wahhabist or the Salafist extreme in Iraq, please? Thank you.
What are the evidence that Daesh in Iraq is influenced by Wahhabism? I spent most of my life as a national security advisor, and I advised the 3 prime ministers after 2003. But let me tell you very quickly. Number one, most of the commanders and even the foot soldiers are Saudi Arabians, Saudi Arabia nationals, who are fighting, and either they belong themselves in Iraq with the car bomb or suicide bombers. So this is, I said, most of them. And what I'm talking about is since 2003, probably we're talking about tens of thousands of Saudi nationals were killed or committed suicide in Iraq, and killed probably tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of my countrymen. This is number one. Number two, and this is not in the public domain, and I'm going to say it just to try to. In one of the 4 stars hotel in Baghdad, we thought that there's some untoward activities there. We went into there. The police went into there. And in the false ceiling of one of the rooms of that hotel, stash of hundreds of Saudi passports, genuine Saudi passport. Number 3, a check, you call it a check, signed by 3 people. A check signed by 3 people. One is the dean of the Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab University, and his deputy, and the chief financial officer of the university, issued for one of the terrorists who we arrested in Baghdad, in his name, for 600 dirham. That's more than $100,000. $2 million going from HSBC in Saudi Arabia to HSBC in Dubai, going back to the Arab Bank in Amman, and ended up in cash in Fallujah in my country with Daesh. The education of Daesh. Can you see how they punish people? If you are homosexual, they throw you away from 10th floor. If you are adulterer, they will cut your head. And this is exactly what they do in Saudi Arabia. This is exactly what they do in Saudi Arabia. They don't hang people. They don't electrocute. They cut until this moment of time. Their national education, the textbook of Daesh, over the last 2 years, they were teaching our children, Iraqi children. Forget about the Syrian children. There's a different kettle of fish there. But I'm talking about our children in Mosul, in Tikrit, in Ramadi, and in Fallujah. For the last 2 years, they were teaching them Saudi national curriculum of what I said in all their 10th grader, their 7th grader, their 4th graders, and the student ones. So the evidence are overwhelmingly pointing to one direction. And show me one denominator which is a common between Osama bin Laden, the Zawahiri, Boko Haram, Yemen, Al-Qaeda, and Al-Qaeda in Iraq, 9/11 perpetrator, who the 7/7 of London, and Paris bombing. What is the common denominator between these two? These terrorists all over the world? Is the faith. Is the one faith. They believe in one thing, and that's Wahhabism. And I call it jihadism, because they merged with the Muslim Brotherhood, political Islam, and produced this Frankenstein. Until and unless the world, ladies and gentlemen, please believe me, until and unless I've been fighting terrorism for the last 30 years now, and the world has been fighting terrorism for the last 30 years or more. We're saying that it is security measures, or it's because the people are not educated, highly educated. Well, Osama bin Laden is not educated, or Zawahiri is a doctor, is MD. Or the people who committed 9/11, or Al-Khalifa Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is not educated. They're highly educated. They're frighteningly intelligent people. So, education, leave it on. Economy, Osama bin Laden is a millionaire. A lot of these people are millionaires. They made a lot of money, inherited a lot of money. And the funding from Saudi and Qatar, and some of the charities in Kuwait as well. So I can go on giving you examples of this, but I think it is the evidence is overwhelming and irrevocable evidence point to one direction, in Saudi Arabia religion, which is called Wahhabism. And I think the people of this world, of the Western world, should address this. The etiology, the root cause is this, the faith. This evil faith. We have to confront it and address it. And don't camouflage it. And don't say, well, we have to be careful with the Saudi because its economy and it's 11 million barrel a day. And all this, or the Qataris are the largest gas reservoir in the world, and so on and so forth. We need to confront this if we need to keep the international security and national security of the region, whether it's the Middle East or North Africa or Southeast Asia.
Thank you very much.
J'ai des questions courtes à poser pour M. À votre avis, est-ce que l'Union européenne ou quelques pays particuliers...
Pouvez-vous répéter la question, une question courte s'il vous plaît?
Est-ce que l'Union européenne va élaborer quelque sorte de l'acte patriotique comme aux États-Unis? Et ma deuxième question, est-ce qu'on a assez d'instruments pour contrôler le financement du terrorisme djihadiste en Europe?
Ça c'est une question pour le docteur?
Oui.
That's a very difficult question, because it's basically a question about our banking system. The major problem is our banking system. So how can we track suspicious funds and suspicious transfers? First of all, we have to know what we are looking for. And it's a recent development that we are looking into charity. Charity has not been looked into before. If we came to an agreement to analyze a special kind of charity, which moves huge sums of money, then major funds could be confiscated, and organizations like the one in Geneva, it's also in Cologne, could be expelled. Dissolved. The question with the controlling arms transfers would be much easier. But I'll tell you one example. In our foreign committee, I had two very long discussions with our foreign ministry. And I said, let's do a very simple thing. Let's agree on an arms embargo for the region, at least in Austria. Let's talk to the Germans and to the French, if they could join us. And our foreign ministry answered, and that's no secret, so I can talk about it. No, it's a free market. And when even an Austrian foreign ministry, who's very critical against Turkish government now, and is completely against jihadism and so on, says, we are fighting jihadism by all means, but the arms markets have to stay free and open. It's nuts, it's completely nuts. And as long as that's the US problem en miniature in Austria and in Germany. As long as you want to do everything, and afterwards fight the one you did, it doesn't work out. So we have to change ourselves before we can change the Middle East. That's the problem.
My name is Joseph Haber. I'm professor from Banking University in Poland. I would like to ask Dr. Pilz if you mind that we know really strategic goal of Saudi Arabia in the Middle East region. I don't mind, because even the European Union has very close ties with GCC, Gulf Council of Countries. And then something like differentiation of our interests between the countries within the region, as you said, that Saudi Arabia is another business, Qatar is quite, or Kuwait, or Abu Dhabi, etc. You see that we would like to learn or educate Qatar. We have to take into account how strong Qatar is within the European Union and global banking system. And what do you think? How we can educate them and how we can stop transfer of different financial resources going to different terrorist groups, because there is no one but several or many different which are just growing. And I noticed that it is something like franchising business terrorism, international terrorism. It is very dangerous, and we within the European Union, we have no common foreign policy for that, and we don't know how to stop that. And together with the United Nations, we can only discuss, but in fact, we have no effective instruments to stop. Maybe only control, but not to stop on the final stage.
There was a very similar discussion in the 20s, almost 100 years ago on our continent. I wouldn't basically compare Nazi Germany with Saudi Arabia, but you should take into consideration that Germany at that time relatively looked at was by far stronger than Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, and all the others together. That's the first thing. Second thing, at some points in history you have to decide if you choose appeasement or confrontation. I myself am a very peaceful person. I'm the co-founder of the Green Party in Austria. I'm really very peaceful. You will find few persons more peaceful than me in Austria. But at some point in history you have to say no. Okay, there will be disadvantages. We have to change our energy consumption so or so in Europe. And if a security argument supports this very important process, we should do it even faster. And the other thing is, if the richest continent on earth, the economically maybe strongest continent on earth, is afraid of Qatar, then forget Europe.